Well, let us talk about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Now, a lot of people have dropped crap about this couple, including everybody on this podcast, but someone is really putting the pen to ink. There is a new explosive book about them. Have you guys heard the name of this book? Because it is already salacious in the title. It is called Revenge. And there are tons of huge revelations of what happened during their time in the palace, outside of the palace. And we're going to hit you with some of the revelations. This book isn't even out yet, but the author, Mr. Bauer, is doing a little tour and giving us sneak peeks. Now, he says that Harry and Meghan were, quote, addicted to reading about themselves in the press and were worried their secrets were getting out through their famous friends. They said that the author says that every night they scoured the internet and read the newspaper reports and the trolls' postings on social media. Irrationally, they grouped the two together and fed each other's frenzy about the media. They were convinced that as champions of goodness, they were being persecuted and, targeted because of racism, and they felt victimized by the mildest criticism. Now, this creeped out. It wasn't just trolls on the internet. The book claims that Meghan and Harry, quote, suspected Victoria Beckham of indiscretion. Harry called David Beckham to repeat this accusation, and outraged David Beckham's truthful denials damaged their reputation. Now, they thought that Victoria and David Beckham were, of course, members of their wedding. I don't know if there was the Spice Girls leak or details about the wedding or why you thought Victoria Beckham was leaking things about you, but apparently, it has ruined Prince Harry and David Beckham's relationship. There are also the accusations of bullying that come up again against Meghan Markle to several of the staffers in the palace. And of course, the infamous pre-wedding disagreement with Kate Middleton that made headlines at the time, where Meghan accused Kate of making her burst into tears. Now, the biographer said it was actually the other way around, and the Kate Middleton was crying because of Charlotte's dress. We don't quite get the full story, but it's going to be in the book, Revenge. And the BBC said that they were informed that Harry and Meghan never asked permission to use the Queen's nickname to name their daughter Lilibet. These are just my top favorite revelations about this book, but it is wild. It's sort of things we've heard before, but with a lot more explosive details, and it's not looking good for the Sussexes.
No, listen, I mean, any book called Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. I think we might be going in with a bias here. And I'm not the biggest Meghan Markle Harry stan in the world, but I do think, take maybe some of these claims with a grain of salt. I don't know how balanced this book is, but at the same time, if you read Finding Freedom, you'd think that Meghan and Harry were like the heroes that walk among us. So all these royal books are biased and kind of, you can tell where they lean. This is clearly more, these sources are more connected to the firm and less Harry and Meghan. I think the feud with the Beckhams is fascinating. I'd love to know more details on whether Victoria Beckham actually leaked stories about the royals or if Harry actually called David and was like, is Posh doing this? Because I'm sure they were so offended. But my other favorite part was the alleged feud between Meghan and her former Suits co-star, Sarah Rafferty.
Which they definitely had a feud.
I'm sure. According to this author, they had an argument when she left the show in 2018. Meghan had asked her merchandising casting agent to consider representing Sarah for commercial deals. So then when the two met and this casting agent really liked Sarah, she took her under her news, and then Meghan apparently called and said, no, that's a conflict of interest. I don't want you working with my co-star, and alleged that Meghan was being manipulative, and several Suits actors felt the same way. So very interesting to know if that's true.
Well, I mean, I had it at the time. Obviously, can't tell you where I heard it, but I had it on very, very good authority that Meghan and Sarah hated each other. And
Really?
It was because something that Meghan was doing to co-stars, but especially Sarah. They hated each other during times of the filming. And especially when she started dating Prince Harry, the feud got worse and worse. And I've just heard things from on set, and that I can really attest to is something that was brewing under the surface, no matter really what happened. Gwen, what do you think about this? It does seem Omid's book about finding freedom seemed to be very pro-Sussex. This book seems to be very pro-firm. Maybe we could put together and find some middle ground of truth.
Well, the good thing is that when books like this come out, another book will follow that will probably refute some of the things. I've been very clear about my feelings about what I think Meghan Markle could have done better.
Keep the TIG up.
However,
bring back the TIG.
As someone who I do really love Queen Elizabeth, she's not getting any younger. I hate that this book might bring her some stress.
Yeah, I do too. Hopefully the Queen has not heard about revenge against them, because she doesn't need that right now in her life.
Sure, she's heard of it. She's source quoted in it. No, I'm kidding.
She's not source quoted in it.
Kidding.
But it is weird that if it's true that they didn't ask permission, you sort of give a heads. I mean, maybe you don't give a heads up if you're naming your daughter after your grandmother's nickname. Maybe that's sort of more of a surprise element. I don't know.
I think that's probably normally okay, but like when your grandma's the Queen of England and it's gonna like come out as like a press release, like maybe you let them know, especially because it was like a nickname, not just like a middle name.
Right. Well, it also seems like everybody in this book just hates Meghan and Harry so much, and anything they did, they think is anything they did without the palace's permission is sort of rubbing salt in the wound. I can't wait for Sarah Huron to read it and give us some more explosive details.
Personally, I really loved that they chose the name Lilibet, and
same.
Would imagine that the Queen was touched, and we had heard reporting that she was touched. So. I mean, I guess like normal families, if you're going to name somebody for somebody, like you just let them know ahead of time, I guess, but maybe not.
Yeah. Well, good luck to the Queen. We got God Save the Queen. Long live the Queen. We love you.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly Magazine.